graduated in 2022 from the data journalism program here at Stanford, and I was the Steve Steinberg Award recipient that year. I wrote about the impacts of climate change to American military security in northern Greenland and the very serious repercussions that climate change is having on our safety as a nation, but also the pivotal and important work that the US is doing in Greenland and also the impact on Greenlanders themselves.
My project was researching the impacts of remittances on rural Mexicans with a specific case study with my own family. So what I did was I looked back at years of documents about the amount of work that my grandparents were doing in the US and the amount that they were sending back home.
My project was a long-form article that I wrote looking at the ongoing impacts of the nuclear legacy in the Marshall Islands.
My project was about the increase of Chinese asylum seekers at the southern US border.
My project was about digital nomad gentrification in the Dominican Republic, where I grew up. I got to research and report on the different effects of remote work and how they've also had more of this global impact.
I was reporting on Catholic missionaries. It used to be people going to Africa to evangelize, and now men and women from East Africa are coming to the US to evangelize here. So I kind of traced the story back to the source and met some men who were preparing to come to the US to be priests.
As a journalist, especially a newly graduated one, there isn't a ton of options when it comes to having this freedom to tell these untold stories where you travel, you really immerse yourself, you get on the ground. So the fact that I was able to go there, speak to senior military officials, get private tours of facilities was a huge luxury, and one that I recognize most people never get the opportunity to do so, and I'm so incredibly grateful because it shaped my perspective as a writer, as a researcher, as a journalist.
I've always wanted to write about my family in that sense, right? And I feel like because of those resources I was given and the support I was given in terms of the actual construction of the story and the process of reporting, I was able to not only accomplish my goal, but probably exceed whatever I thought I was capable of doing. It's really meaningful for people to, be able to spend the entire summer or any extended period of time just focusing on one story that they can really grind out. It is textbook, like hands-on work. It is, the experience that employers are looking for. And it's obviously getting you comfortable doing the thing that hopefully you want to do for the rest of your life, right? Which is reporting.
Foreign correspondence felt like this crazy moonshot of a dream that, when you're in school, you have no idea how to break into it, or even if those jobs exist. And so having the chance even to do it for a summer and see what it's really like is, I don't think there ever would have been another way that I was going to be able to do that. There's no substitute for actually having to go out and manage source relationships by yourself and figure out how to save a story if something's going poorly by yourself. And I think as a reporter, it's good to feel kind of like a fish out of water.
I think the most valuable experience for me working on the Steinberg project is the kind of editorial support that I received from the faculty members. The opportunity to sit down with an editor who's fully invested in your story and who's willing to work with you, even line by line, and who's willing to, have countless conversations with you. I think that kind of experience is something that is really valuable for a journalist with or without experience to take your craft into the next level.
I was given incredible support from Janine and RB. They really helped me, especially during the pre-reporting process. Just a lot of meetings, really thinking about, okay, what do I need to do? How do I get started? What do I even need to think about? I remember the first day I landed in the Marshall Islands. I was wildly jet lagged, and I showed up and it just kind of hit me that I was there alone, and it was all on my shoulders to make it happen. It was just thrilling to be able to work on a project, so driven by passion. I think this award is for the curious, it's for the ambitious, it's for those who shoot for the stars and have no limitations.
I think often when you have just graduated, there's almost this disconnect of, here are these incredible things and tools I've learned, but what does that mean in practice? Am I going to be able to tell the stories I want to tell? Am I going to have an impact? Is there something in my writing legacy I'll be proud of? You forget that that is actually possible, and having an award like this, where the moment you graduate, you get to tell a story that makes a difference, that's important to you, and feels like an untold story, which I think for me as a journalist is the ultimate goal, is such a privilege, and really affirmed to me, this is why journalism matters.
I think the Steve Steinberg Reporting Award experience for myself was just complete validation that I'm on the right path and that I'm meant to be and I want to be a journalist. It showed me with exact precision that I want to go into investigative work and be working on stories of that magnitude and focused on human rights issues.
Like on a professional but also on a personal level, like I was so transformed by just like getting to follow my own curiosity at such a deep way, with mentorship, with guidance, with funding. Something, I don't know, like when do you ever get to do that in life in that way, which is so amazing.
I've learned so much along the way about, the US immigration system, about, the ways in which you connect with your interview subjects, and also the ways in which, as a writer, how to make your story more accessible for the readers, how to take your writing to the next level, with the support and guidance of our faculty members. And I think now, reflecting back on my experience, I just feel really thankful to be able to have that ecosystem of support around me.
It's an environment that challenges you a lot. You learn so much. And it challenges you to stand a lot more confidently as a journalist and move into unfamiliar situations with a lot more self-assuredness. And that's invaluable, but it's also such a safe place to make mistakes because you have the mentorship and you can mess up and learn a lot about how to be a better reporter.
Often in this industry, right, we're turning things the same day or something like that. And I think I've learned how to be a more thoughtful reporter through this program. And so I feel so super comfortable, right, like doing investigations because of the experience I was able to do in this project. I feel really comfortable doing embedded narratives because of the experience I was able to get in this project. The skills are so transferable. I know that they're going to follow me wherever I go in the future.